do you think of my Prius?
It sucks.
Here.
I think it's a fucking Prius.
Come on, you know you're jealous.
Dude, it is great.
You want to race? I bet you I can smoke that freaking truck.
Really?
I bet you I can destroy you.
Payments on my car.
I bet you
I have no payment.
because you're 100 years old. Because you're a vampire.
Fuck you, I'm tired of talking to you.
Because you were at the Battle of Waterloo.
Bye.
Watch this. I'm going to smoke that truck in this Prius. I'm going to make sure it's in sport. 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 All right. Drag race. Big V8 right there.
The reason they gave you $4,500 for that Prius is because you can't sell the fucking thing.
He can't even, he's way back there. Look at that. Gapplebees. Gapplebees. He didn't even race. Ah, jeez. Because he doesn't want the smoke. He doesn't want the smoke. I've known that dude for freaking like 25 years, so it wasn't random. What in the is this? Did I get drunk yesterday and buy a Prius? What happened? What in the hell? Where'd this come from? What idiot would buy such a ridiculous car? Who would buy this thing? What's wrong with me? What happened yesterday? Somebody hit me on the head? Somebody drugged me? What in the hell happened? This is insane. Well, at least it's not one of those abominations. No offense, TK, but holy crap. This is pretty bad. Anyways, I'm just messing with you folks. Yeah, that was me. It was me, completely sober, not under the influence of anything. Bought this thing, well, leased this thing yesterday for my daily driver so that my Scat Pack, which is parked over there today, is still in the family and doesn't go anywhere. Will that go somewhere someday? Yeah, of course it will. I mean, look, it's still on the table that I can go buy another muscle car, but I'd like to wait till Dodge comes out with another Hemi or something really excites me. I mean, that Z01 excited me, but who knows? That could, you know how things go in my family, that could change tomorrow. I could end up with trading that in next week. I just, as of right now, that thing gets to stay in the family and I'm glad. And I didn't have to get rid of it. And I didn't have to go through that emotional roller coaster. And I got this so I can drive the daylights out of it, not care about it, park it anywhere I want. If something hits it when I'm driving the road, doesn't matter. If somebody rear ends me, doesn't matter, as long as everybody's okay, of course. Does not matter. This is a disposable personal transportation device. That's the way you gotta look at it. I've got this thing to drive anytime I want. One guy in the comments said I had to give up my man card and he's unsubscribing. Well, goodbye, good riddance. You won't be missed. We'll be okay. We've actually grown subscribers since the video went up. So even though we lost one, we gained some of you, and welcome to the channel, appreciate it. But if I lost my man card, what do you drive? And I'm not flexing here, but maybe I'm flexing here. But there's 500 horsepower, here's another 610 horsepower, got 1,000 horsepower. And this little thing is 220 horsepower in a small, I'm not gonna say light because it's got a battery in it, package, but it's insane. It's considering what it is. It's something you didn't expect when you jump behind the wheel of this thing, because if you've driven a Prius before, they were completely different. The other thing I found out, for no extra charge, the whole front of this thing is PPF'd. So even though I don't mind running it really hard and beating it up a little bit, it like came with everything I'd want and need. But in this video, we're gonna talk about why I picked a Prius and not a EV, considering, forgive our garage, I have a Tesla charger right here. A full-blown, hardwired Tesla charger in the garage. Could have bought a Tesla. Why didn't I buy a Tesla? And I will go into that in a few minutes. But let me just give you a little hint. The one first, I don't want to say primary reason, but definitely in the top 2 or 3 is depreciation. A 2-year-old Prius, just hybrid, whether it's a plug-in or not, is only like $2,000 less, depending on the miles, than a brand new one, and that's 2 years old. but a 2-year-old Tesla Model 3, Model Y, doesn't matter what it is close to 50% depreciated, 50% less. So for $44,000, you buy a Tesla, and a year to 2 years later, you've lost 50% of the value. This thing, not that I plan on getting rid of it, and it is a lease, I don't have that depreciation hanging around my neck, which I would have had I bought a Tesla or leased a Tesla. It wouldn't have mattered. I would have been trapped in that thing till the end. I can exit this thing anytime I want and not lose anything. Let's jump in this thing and go film the reasons why I picked this instead of an EV, and frankly, instead of any other hybrid car. But it is a hot freaking day today in Southern California. Holy moly. All right, let's go.
A few moments later.
Hey, so what's your honest opinion about the Prius?
I mean, I kind of dig it.
I'm sending this to my buddies.
You want to put that?
I said, I just got to get roasted for like a fucking half an hour about my fucking Prius. Everybody's making fun of me, right?
There you go. That's your Prius.
Yeah. Come on, you know you love it. You know you want one.
Really? I wouldn't drive that.
I mean, if it turns into another charity case, I will take it off your hands.
I wouldn't drive it to a
The
dog
2011 Civic's getting tired, dude.
fight. I wouldn't drive it to a dog fight if you were fighting.
I don't even know what that means. It's another thing you say that nobody knows what the fuck that means. I don't even know what that means. All right, before we get out, walk around this car and talk about the reasons why I chose this over an EV, I do want to address the haters only because there were so few. I was shocked. I've got 95.5% likes versus dislikes. Definitely more dislikes than I get on a normal video, which I expected with the Prius. I understand some of you get triggered by this, and most absolute definitely and certainly there were some really nasty, ugly, rude, horrible comments. I'll put them up on the screen for entertainment purposes, but there were so many more that were awesome, and so many of you supportive. And what's really cool is the vast majority of you absolutely understand and understood my logic right up front. And I want to address that real fast. My logic, after thinking for weeks now, buying a Mustang, buying a Camaro, buying something else, getting rid of the Scat Pack because I'm putting too many miles on it. It's costing me easily $1,000 a month in gasoline. I mean, I'm filling up 3 times a week driving my region. A lot of folks don't know what I do for a living. They've not been following the channel for a while, so I understand this might look ridiculous. And without getting into this long what I do for a living video, I oversee a very large region, basically covering 3 counties in Southern California. Basically all the way down to the Mexican border in San Diego, as far south as you can get. Offices we have in La Mesa and La Jolla, and all the way up the coast, and also inland as well through San Diego. And then going into Orange County, another 10 or so offices, inland and coastal throughout all of Orange County and all the way out to Long Beach. So that's going into LA County. So I've got San Diego, Orange County, and LA small part of LA County. Then my region that I oversee goes out to Inland Empire, which is Riverside County, going right up against the border of San Bernardino County. So all the way out there, I've got another 5 or 6 offices out there. So I'm all over the place, and I travel and I stay in hotels. And the challenge when I go out to hotels is there's no chargers for an electric car. We'll talk about that more in a second. So getting this allows me to drive every week. I'm in a different county, driving from my home, which is in North Orange County. Let's just say by Disneyland, okay? And I've got to go to all these different places. And if you look at my Challenger, knowing that I've also driven the Lamborghini a lot, and I also had the cop car for a while, that the Challenger was not getting the brunt, well, it was getting the brunt of most of the miles, but I definitely offset it with the Lamborghini and with the cop car until I got rid of that. Because I did drive that cop car a lot, and I drove for business as well, because I could wear and tear that thing to death and it just wouldn't die. I put just about 26, almost 27,000 miles, and almost 2 years to the day that I bought that Challenger. And the vast majority of that mileage has been business mileage. And that's a problem, considering that while I do get reimbursed for some mileage, that the wear and tear on that car, the $3,000+ in brakes, the oil changes every other month at $150, the depreciation that Challenger is taking every single month that I rack more and more miles on it. And I'm talking, if it wasn't as high miles right now, I might be looking at $5,000 to $7,000 more value in that thing. So adding all that together, the gas of close to, let's say, $800 to $1,200 a month, because that thing eats gas, because it's not an automatic, meaning I am driving it the way I drive it. The computer and the transmission's not tailoring the gas mileage to be the best you can get. It's me. And I can tell you, apparently I suck at getting good gas mileage in that Challenger because I like driving the living daylights out of it. And as a result, I'm filling it up constantly. Even when I use restraint, I'm sucking through gas on that thing. And I'm killing that beautiful 1 of 300 car. So the plan was just get another muscle car as my daily and enjoy it and drive the hell out of it and kill that car too. But if you've been watching for a while, you know that I bought a Prius years ago to preserve my Challengers, to preserve my Hellcats, to preserve my other cars, and to just wear and tear the daylights out of a cheap car like this. And it worked great until COVID came. And after 5 months with that Prius, it ended up being a decoration in my garage, so we sold it. So bottom line is, will this thing offset the costs? Yes. Depreciation, gas alone, right away, this $325 car payment is massively smaller than what I'm paying on gas. Will I still drive the Challenger, put gas in it? Absolutely. But I'll probably have to put 1 tank a month in that thing, driving it as a pleasure vehicle on the weekends or days when I'm staying local. But this thing will take the beating, and I don't care what happens to this thing. I have no anxiety about parking it up front or in, tight parking spaces. I don't care. This is a disposable transportation vehicle. But one that has a lot of advantages, which I'm going to talk about now. Might as well just get into that. All right, so let's talk about this thing real quick. Why I like this, why I bought this instead of an EV. Of course, we talked about the depreciation, so we don't need to belabor that point. This thing holds its value way more. And it's not just Teslas that depreciate. All EVs depreciate massively. So why would I take on that kind of loss when I've already lost money on the Challenger, which I still have and keep, and I'm keeping, but eventually when I sell it, I will lose a lot of money on that. This thing, I will not lose anything other than the payments that I pay, but the revenue I generate from just using it for work and the ultimate mileage reimbursement, which the IRS gives back now in 2025, 70 cents per mile. And I'm driving an average of 2,000 to 3,000 miles per month for my job. And as a result, you can simply get your calculator out and do the math on that. The problem with the Challenger is, even though you're getting 70 cents of write-off from the IRS on that Challenger, the cost to drive that Challenger is likely over 70 cents and starts approaching $1 to $2 per mile based on maintenance, upkeep, depreciation, gas, etc. So this car will cost me next to nothing with free service for the entire first year, and future years would be downright negligible in cost, where the Challenger costs me upwards of about $150 every other month or every third month just to change the oil, not to mention when the brakes are due. A EV would have a problem because I would have the depreciation as well as the cost of charging that thing, which would be equivalent to putting gas in this car. I get about 600 to 700 miles in range from this, where an EV you're getting, even at best with a long-range Tesla, you might get into the mid-3s at best, depending on how you drive it. And that means I'm sitting at a charger every single, let's just say week, maybe once to twice per week at best, potentially more. The other issue is I stay in hotels very often, and these hotels, while being very nice hotels, oftentimes don't have more than about 2 charging stations with 2 chargers per, which means you've got maybe 4 charging stations, and they are full. The second, because of the EV proliferation, especially in California, and all the push to get them, and the tax credits and everything that have existed, there's way more people with EVs than there are charging stations, which means almost everywhere there's a line to get to them. Well, at a hotel, the problem is people charge at night, and then they go to their hotel room and they go to sleep. So once it's charged, it's sitting there the rest of the night, and nobody else gets to use it. Every single time I've checked into one of these hotels, probably, let's say 3 nights to 6 nights per month, I am oftentimes more. I go by the chargers just out of curiosity, and they are full. And they are full the entire time. And I've even had the staff that I've asked, how often do you have chargers come available? They're like, it is a nightmare for us. People are fighting over it. We've got cars that have been sitting there all night, sometimes all day, and nobody can get in and charge their cars. So that is not a risk I can take, considering that in my executive position in the company I work at for my day job, I have to be places, and being late or not showing up is a massive affront to people that I'm going to meet with, and oftentimes it's large groups that I'm going to be speaking to in large meetings. So me not being there is not an option. So buying an EV, either whether it be a charger that's wildly unreliable or something that needs to be charged at a charging station and derail me, would not work. I can't deal with that. Here, it takes me a few seconds to fill up. Let's just say it takes 3 minutes to pull in, fill up with the cheap gas, not the high octane stuff. For, let's just say it's $50 at the most, and then I get 700 miles to burn on this car. So even if I do massive miles in a month, I might fill this thing up maybe 3 times in a month for $150, versus right now I'm doing close to maybe 250 miles per tank at best, probably less, maybe 220, maybe 200 on the Challenger. So this makes a lot more sense. But compared to an EV, I don't have all that range anxiety. How about this? The price. To buy an EV, you're spending a new EV or lease a new EV, you're still upwards in the $40,000 range from Tesla. And while they have great leases and great prices, nothing's going to be as cheap as this thing is with the same level of convenience. And if I do go shop for some used cheap EV, I'm still dealing with all the other problems that come with an EV that I cannot deal with. It just would not work in my life because of the amount of driving and distances that I'm doing and the tight schedule that I have every single week. The other issue is the insurance. So insurance on this car is cheaper than an EV. So EVs are primarily often more than a gas car. So a Prius is really inexpensive, very inexpensive. Why? Because every part on this car is cheap. It's a Toyota, it's not expensive. If it gets, in an accident, there's parts wildly, massively, crazily available everywhere. Hell, I can get a mirror on Amazon, for goodness sake. I mean, trim on Amazon, emblems, headlight. I mean, everything's just cheap. Much cheaper on these cars than a lot of these EVs with the crazy technology that they have. So insurance is a lot less. And also rating myself as well as my daughter on this car drops my insurance. So her being rated on all of our cars, and especially her primary car being the Supra, the insurance company actually recommended that I rate her on the least insane car that we have. Well, the problem is we don't have a non-insane car. We have a Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, 500 horsepower, a Lamborghini, 600 horsepower. We've got a $90,000 Defender that the parts on it are insane. Hell, we had a headlight go out, it's $4,000. And then a few weeks later, had another one go out, it's another $4,000. Thank goodness for warranties. But imagine a car accident, an insurance company has to replace 2 headlights. That's $8,000. So the insurance on the Land Rover is high. But this, it's cheap. So I put her on this car and it drops the insurance. So already adding this to our insurance, not being just the high performance or expensive luxury cars, my insurance immediately dropped about $117 a month. So deduct that from the $325 and I'm already doing well. And the reality of it is if you just go into ChatGPT and type in, what is the highest miles per gallon hybrid on the market for the least amount of money, and you're gonna have 2 cars show up. You're gonna have the Toyota Prius this thing show up and the Corolla show up. This gets higher miles per gallon for a little bit more money. This thing also is a plug-in hybrid, not just a hybrid, which means I now get to park in the front spaces everywhere I go and plug this thing in when I'm traveling for work, if there's a charger available, and I have to assume that oftentimes there won't be. But when there is, I get to park in those and park right up front, which at malls and stuff like that, definitely it's a bit of a convenience. And in some of my offices where those chargers maybe aren't full in the middle of the day, I get a little bit of an advantage to be able to do that. Carpool sticker used to be available. I think it's going to expire in September unless they extend it. If they extend it, this car also would qualify for the carpool sticker, same as a lot of the EVs. So for that reason, this is the car. This beats an EV no matter how you cut it, on every aspect for a guy like me. And despite the hate that I take and the crap that people give me and the tough talk in the comments and stupid stuff and the man card and all the stupid things people say, I still have all my other cars. I have what I think is not a bad looking personal transportation device that'll get me where I need to go for a whopping $325 a month, already saving on insurance, and will save $600 to $700 a month on gas, assuming I still, of course, use the Challenger. So with that, everybody, let me know what you think. Sorry for the longer video, but just want you to know why. Why not an EV? Why not a Tesla? Why did I even get this thing? How does it mathematically work out? And mathematically, I'm gonna write off 70 cents per mile when I use this thing for business, whether it be for YouTube. For example, I'm going to roadkill nights. I'm gonna drive this thing up to the airport, leave it in the parking structure for 3 or 4 days, and not care if it's there when I get back. But my Challenger, I would have to worry and care that that thing's still there when I get back, and that somebody hasn't keyed it or door dinged it or anything like that in the airport. This thing, I get to leave it there. When I land, I'll pay for the monthly park or the daily parking. When I land, when I get home, I'll walk right out, jump in the thing, and boogie home. And mostly in likely EV mode, because this thing also gets the benefit of an electric motor. So I've got 44 miles of electric range on this thing. So I've got an EV when I want it to just be an EV. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, be respectful. Share your opinions, it's okay, but come on, be respectful. And I appreciate the follow, I appreciate the support, and who knows what the future holds. See you all in the next one. Bye-bye.